They say you can be a consumer or a producer, and for the longest time I have been consuming more social media than I would like and more random shorts than I would like. And so this year my goal is to produce a handful of sort of bigger projects and finish a handful of bigger projects. If you've seen any of my channel so far, you know that I am not good at sticking to one thing and being consistent. I will try something and I'm bouncing around in projects all the time. And you know, I think the ADHD in me is pretty obvious, but I did not know till I was 28. And so when I was 28, I got diagnosed with ADHD, and then I'm reflecting on my life and I'm just like, how could nobody tell before? How did I not know? And so anyway, all this to say, this year I was making a list of goals for the new year, and I was doing it 1 year, 5 year, and then sort of lifetime goals. And my 1 year goals was the longest, and it was over 20 things. And 20 things is a lot of things to do in a year. Ridiculous, right? And so I'm trying to narrow it down. So what I'm doing is I'm narrowing it down to 4 to 6 things, sort of big projects that I want to do this year. Number 1, I'm going to finish a rough draft of my second novel. Second novel, wow, that's crazy. What about your first novel? Great question. I finished a first novel a couple years ago and have been working on revisions since then. And as an attempt to procrastinate working on that novel right now, I'm starting a new novel. So okay, this is just who I am, what I do. So I'm starting a new novel. My goal is to finish a rough draft this year. I would love to be able to get a round of editing in and send it to a friend to edit. Maybe that'll happen. We'll see. Yeah, that's the first big goal. Novel by the end of the year. Second big goal is to illustrate a children's book. So last year I wrote a children's book, and I would love to illustrate it traditionally. That's kind of one of my big goals. It's the only way to fight the robots, right? And so I'm trying to illustrate it traditionally. I'm thinking watercolors because I loved watercolors in high school. We'll see. Number 3. One of my big goals, I've been getting into woodworking more in the last few years. My buddy and I, we built crokinole boards, I'm going to make a video about that at some point. Love it. And you can find my website if you want to buy one. I'll make you a custom one. Anyway, my buddy and I have been building crokinole boards, and over the course of learning to build these, I've been getting better at woodworking overall. And so one of my goals for this year is to build a kitchen table. My wife and I have been using this IKEA table for like 2 or 3 years now. I've had it at my house for a while, and it has seen better days. IKEA furniture, not made to last forever, and it shows. No, it's been a great table. Love it. Expandable. Super cool. But it doesn't fit the space perfectly that we have. And so we're trying to figure out, okay, what's the perfect shape of table? And I'm going to build it. I hope. So follow along if you want to see that. Our final big 4, I was going to try and upload a video a week. And that felt sort of like a pretty big push as someone who has not been consistent with video ever. So I told myself, you know what, let's do a video a month. That's the current goal, video a month. I was going to try and do more, and it started stressing me out. My wife and I have 1 kid and 1 on the way. And I was like, there's just no way I can dedicate the time that's going to take to make these extra videos 1 a month. And right now, part of me is thinking, well, maybe 2 a month, but that's because I have the new year sort of energy and resolve to do more. And it's like, no, I can totally I'll do a video a week. Here we go. And so it's like, no, pace yourself, 12 months. Let's do at least 1 video a month. And maybe it'll be more. I kind of think it'd be fun to do live streams if I'm working on, for example, illustrating, just live stream the illustration and chat with people if they're there and whatever. I think that could be fun. And so my goal is basically, I want to start this channel as a place to come and work on these projects and document my progress as I'm trying to become better at these projects, from woodworking to writing to illustration and all these different sort of passions and hobbies of mine. And so if you want to come and hyperfixate with me on whatever the current project is that you're working on, or if you want to see my process for different things that I'm working on, like follow along, So I have my 4 core goals, right? Write a book, illustrate a children's book, kitchen table, and 1 video a month on YouTube. But I have a couple other goals that I'm hoping to squeeze in as well. And I'm trying to pace myself because I always bite off more than I can chew. And I have a hard time saying no to projects, and I just want to do all these things. But a couple other goals on my list. 1 is to shoot a roll of film. So for Christmas, my little sister who's into film, she got me a roll of film, and I have my dad's old film camera, and I was like, perfect. I'll shoot a roll of film and just experience it, do a photo shoot with her maybe when she's out back from college and stuff. So yeah, that video will hopefully happen at some point. but will the photos be any good? I have no idea. I don't know what I'm doing. And then the last kind of big goal that I'd like to be able to push for is I want to do a short film, and I'm thinking I want to animate it. So I'm like short film, animate it. And I animated my intro. I did it in Procreate Dreams. And it was very fun, and it's kind of silly or whatever, but it was like, oh, now I kind of like get a feel for the software. But also last year I participated in Andy Mason's, he's animating flipbook style the Lord of the Rings movie, and so I did like a 5-second contribution to that, and so I have a flipbook kit, and so I'm like, well, what can I do with this kit? And so maybe I will animate a flipbook of whatever the short is. Anyway, those are the goals for the year. So if you have a goal, if you have ADHD, follow along if you want. I think they call it body doubling or accountability buddies, right? We'll make it happen. My goal is to be consistent with a few things and kind of build some habits, even if it's not one project the whole time, but just to build habits of, okay, I'm going to be productive at these times towards these goals. And so I have these 4 core goals, and we'll see how far we get. Real quick too, this is my laboratory, so I call it that because of the 3D printer. But it's my, hopefully, laboratory / YouTube studio. My wife and I moved in August, September, and I'm hoping to eventually do a tour of my shop once it's all set up, and kind of the laboratory in the cold storage utility room. Super fun, and maybe we'll do a shop tour or a tour of the lab at some point. But until then, thanks for watching. All right, you're still here. What are you doing? You should be working on a project and you're putting it off. I get it. That's okay, me too. I thought about, so those goals are all my things that I want to produce or make or create this year, but I have a handful of other goals. I mean, I made a long list. A couple that I think are noteworthy. One, I want to take a good photo a month. So I don't go on a lot of photo shoots. I do photo shoots here or there, family and friends, and graduation, stuff like that. But my goal is to take one sort of fun, good photo a month. So hopefully that means a photo shoot or 2 a month, and I like one of the photos. And one of my other goals, I already forgot it, and it's in my notebook. Hang on. Oh. And one of my other goals is to read 4 physical books this year. I've been reading books listening to books as audiobooks while working on some of these other projects. So when I'm building crokinole boards, when I'm drawing, when I'm, sort of doing some of these kind of hands-on projects that don't require a ton of sort of language-based focus, I listen to audiobooks, and I don't ever sit down to just read a book. But as anyone who loves books will tell you, you always have more books than you can read. And my goal this year is to read 4, we'll do 4, 1 a quarter. My goal is to read 4 physical books this year. So a couple other fun goals, and yeah, we'll see how they go.